Regardless of whether you're running a startup or an enterprise, training your employees correctly and efficiently is a challenge that only scales as you grow. Interestingly, recent research shows that 98% of respondents consider video important for their organization's learning and development strategy. 97% of respondents find video effective in helping employees retain information they get in training. And 97% of L&D professionals find video more effective than text-based documents. The average training video production time was reduced by 8 days, which is about 62%, by using modern AI tools. And the top three biggest obstacles for producing video content for L&D in this past year are time, updating or re-recording content, and ensuring that videos are engaging. In this episode, we'll be exploring how we can make the best use of technology to scale our training and L&D efforts. But first, hello and welcome to the Predictable B2B Success podcast. I'm Vinay Koshy and our guest today is Vitalii Romanchenko. Vitalii, you're the CEO and co-founder of Elai, a deep tech generative AI startup that allows you to create engaging videos with digital presenters just from text, which is interesting. Your partner, Alex, and you, I believe, launched Elai a couple of years ago, and you're one of the leaders in this niche for sure. You've been featured in the likes of Wired, Forbes, Google, etc. And your prior experience prior to Elai, fairly multifaceted, if I could put it that way. You've been involved in product and project management, and involved in launching several startups and won several pitch competitions as well. I'm curious though, given your journey to date, was there a particular incident or event that triggered this journey into creating Elai to what it is today?
Thanks for introduction, Vinay. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. So yeah, regarding my previous experience and the current experience and what's triggered me, I spent more than 10 years in enterprise software development in various roles, mainly in product marketing, engineering management. Always wanted to start my own company. And 2 years ago, with my friend Alex, we started Eli with the vision that future of video lies in personalization. It's always something that I wanted to do just because it's great to build the product for somebody else. And I had privilege to work with the great people, and we were able to build great products specifically for micro gaming. We were developing world famous poker games. So a lot of great thoughts and ideas we implemented to produce great products. And I always wanted to build something on my own or with my own team and with the friends. So that's something that was always in my mind, and that's probably was the biggest trigger why we started the company.
But why focus in on training videos? Was there a particular reason for that?
Yeah, so I think at that time, I think it was a mix of decisions. So first of all, from the video generation perspective, at that time we saw the opportunity in the field. So it was still early days, and it is still early days for the technology, but we saw that we are able to penetrate the market relatively easy with just a smart inbound marketing campaign based on the organic search and SEO pretty much. And we were able to leverage our technical skills and knowledge to build the mm, to build the model and to build the tech. So again, it's a deep tech. It's still highly complicated thing to do, and we're constantly improving. But at that time, we saw the opportunity in the niche. So this is the first thing. The second thing, sometimes I do the like a product management trainings, and basically I thought to at some moment I had the thought, okay, I need to create like a video course where I'll teach about the product management. And once I analyzed it, I understand it's a highly complicated thing to do because you need a camera studio, you need to record everything, and if you need to localize it, you need localization crew, and if something goes wrong, you need to record everything. So it is complicated. So it was just one additional thing. Okay, probably this makes sense. There is a pain, and I could feel it. Well, as a user, I could feel it because it's complicated to create videos. So we during our launch, we had more than 50 customer development interviews with various professionals, L&Ds, with many experts in the field, and they confirmed that the video is something is that is quite complicated to do, and everybody needs videos. And the video content with human is 35% more engaging compared to the regular video content. So you see that a lot of things, is just lining up, and we understand. Okay, yeah, it makes sense to build product in this space.
And given your journey to date, what would you say would be your personal area of strength?
So it's complicated to say just because I know that definitely professional background helps me and professional background in product management, engineering, and marketing. And we wouldn't be able to grow as fast if we have no experience. So experience help us, and experience building high performing teams definitely helps. But I think as a founder, you need something more than just experience. You need just resilience and just to go through the
Mhm.
issues. And for me, having roots, having Ukrainian roots, and starting the company 2 weeks before the war, it was quite challenging time to lead the company when we have people all over the world remote, and also we have people in Ukraine. And still we were able to grow 30% months over the months. We were able to scale from zero to more than 1,000 of active
Mm.
clients, including big corporations like Ernst& Young, Red Bull, Generali, etc. So we were able to stay strong, persevere, and never give up. So in my understanding, this is the combination, and it's not about the skills only or
Mhm.
experience. It's more about just making it happen.
And in that area of strength, that idea of resilience, what would you say is something that businesses don't know but should?
So something, being a startup, so we always building the like a venture story. So to scale you need funding, right? And we started the company during so-called venture winter, because a lot of companies raised in 2021, and then you saw this huge
Yeah.
crisis, and it's quite complicated for the early stage company to raise money now. And but we always had the thought, recommended by YC, that treat your last round as your last round, so you might not raise money. And we raised just a small amount of money as a precedent funding, and we always were building more like lean and bootstrapping organization, and we didn't want to give up the shares with like really low valuation. So regarding the resilience, you need to have this mindset in that you might not raise a lot of money at the beginning, and you need to build lean, strong organization with a lot of organic growth. And you need to think like long term, because you don't know what will happen. Maybe some things will happen that will take you out of the
Mm.
business, and you need to be able to make a pivot. You will need to have resources, and you will need to survive and think how you will grow. So that's something that I can recommend.
And just to be clear, Elai in itself, is this meant for large enterprises alone, or is it something that has a bigger target audience?
So we started with a more horizontal approach with multiple use cases, because Elai eventually it's a video editing tool with digital avatars. So we started with broader approach, and we were catered for many use cases and various clients, starting from B2C and also B2B clients. Now we're focusing mostly on the learning development use case, and we're focusing on the corporate L&D. So we're looking, our primary customers would be big companies, large corporations, and the team inside of these companies. So that's where we at right now.
So the value proposition would be, if I understand this correctly, primarily catering to L&D managers or HR teams within organizations in order to provide training videos just via text. Would that be correct?
2 years ago, the value proposition was a bit
Mhm.
different. Your basically product was avatar, and you had the text field. You type the text, you just add some visuals on the slide, click generate, and you have the video. Now, when we talk with the big enterprises, they like send us 50 feature requests. Do you have this and this? So the value proposition changed. So what we're building pretty much the content creation
Mhm.
tool for the learning development managers to produce video content in the most easiest way with less manual work. So we want to transform large volume of text materials into the videos in the most efficient way.
Right. Okay. And could you give us a sense of the demand for compliant and efficient training content in the corporate world, just based on your experience?
Yes, demand is always there, just because all of the organization, 500 plus people, they have demand on training materials, compliance training, technical training. So demand is there. Is just more about what tools do they use to create this content. And I think all of the L&D managers, they understand the importance of video, and they understand that video content is much more engaging. It's just like they don't have
Mm.
time to create it manually, or they don't have resources, because 1 minute of video might cost you up to $500, and this is in the corporate world, so it's very expensive and it's time consuming, because even like 1 minute of video might take you like 5 hours to create, because you need to set up cameras, like the slides, and then you need to produce the video content. So being able to leverage such tools like as Eli to produce generated videos, which will take you maybe 2 minutes to generate 1 minute video, and now we're releasing real-time
Mm.
rendering, so you basically will have instant video. So it's just like mind-blowing for them. So the importance is there, the use case is there, and it's just like we need to uh, basically provide this product. And the good thing that a lot of people still they don't know that there are tools like that allows you to create videos. So it's just like it's still the early days of the technology, still early days on the market.
Certainly. Now, I alluded to some statistics that I found at the top of the podcast, which suggested that time saving could be as much as 62%. But based on what I'm hearing from you, it could be a lot higher than that. It's probably 80% or more, quite apart from the fact that really, for a lot of organizations that have traditionally been using text based documents to serve as a L&D, to fulfill its L&D purposes, as well as in-person training, they now have the ability to make content that's a lot more engaging, but also deliver almost an equivalent of that in-person training care of these videos. Would that be fair?
Definitely. So again, the time consuming part, it all depends on the use case and what type of content do you want to create. But definitely, it's times faster compared to the traditional video creation approach. And overall, where we are actually going from the product perspective is it's video content, it interactive video content where you can go through the chapters of video, and also having real-time conversation with digital avatars. But also at some point it would be like the just digital L&D
Mm.
assistant, where you're the as just an employee, you just go to the knowledge base, you ask the question to the digital human who trained or on company data, and this digital human answer the questions. So it's a combination. So that's where we're going. So we see that there would be an like independent type of AI assistants that will tell you stuff like about the company, answering all the questions, and also is a tool to help learn development professionals to create videos in the most easiest way.
I'm just thinking into the future here, and I wonder if you could help me out. Based on what you were saying, is the reality of having the equivalent of a avatar based GPT, so to speak, that's been trained on all your company branding documents, as well as L&D material, etc. Would they be able to provide an optimized onboarding and learning program for each individual based on their role and their more specific needs, as opposed to trying to cram a lot of general and generic information and then ask people to go through databases to find documents that would be most relevant to them?
I think the digital AI assistants, they will, the primary role would be to assist with the answering questions. But when we're talking about the course preparations or training material preparation, I still think there would be a human
Sure.
who will design that. Using AI tools, definitely using ChatGPT or alternative to generate the script, but also at least at this particular moment that the human will
Mhm.
define what the content and how it will look. That's but they will use, and they already using AI tools to create content.
Right.
And the assistant part would be just the same.
You also talked about localization earlier on, and I'm curious, how do you incorporate localization into videos, if at all?
Yeah, so that's something that we were thinking at the beginning. that would be super useful to the L&D content creators. And I think we were the first who actually innovated this translation feature, where you're able to translate your video presentations into other language in a couple of
Mhm.
clicks. And this is just the localization part. So now you created the presentation with Eli, and you need it in Spanish. So in one click, you can just choose Spanish, and the same type of template will be created in Spanish version. Now you can just click generate, and you will have the Spanish speaking avatar, Spanish speaking slides, and Spanish speaking content. And this is super easy to do, and also it's super exciting because now you don't need to manually do that, and you don't need to hire like a real localization crew. We are using third party to generate the translation, so it might not be that accurate as the real translation services, right? But again, it's getting better, and a lot of times it's quite relevant content. So it still simplifies the process. And what we see that a lot of times people, they don't need the highly expensive translation services or localization services. The level of translation that these engines, OpenAI, Google, DeepL, what they are giving, it's quite
Mm.
relevant and it's quite high. So that's the future. That's what I see.
So you would suggest that with these translation abilities, most videos would be ready to use, but perhaps it's best for a human editor who's an expert in that particular language to go over it and tweak it. I'm assuming there's some editing facilities available in that regard.
Yeah, so right now, if you don't like the translation version, you always can have the person who will review it, like native speaker or something. But what we see that a lot of times, that almost all of the times, the content that is translated by these third party engines, it's quite relevant and it's grammatically correct. And these tools getting better and better. So eventually, the level of translation would be just equal to the native speaker expert.
So you've had quite a bit of growth right from the start. Obviously, you're now focusing on larger organizations or larger enterprises. I'm curious, though, what would you say would be the major drivers of Eli's growth over the past year?
I think the major growth word. So it's still combination. I think we chose the right strategy that help us to scale, and this was mainly using inbound marketing channels. Currently, we're doing the combination of inbound and outbound. But at the beginning, we started with inbound marketing, and also just ability to deliver fast and get the customer feedback fast and deliver what they want. I think that was the major growth factor for us, because again, we had some competitors and we still have some competitors, and we needed to be faster than them, and we needed to deliver right thing. So the big thing for CEO is always to hear the insights in the noise, because there are a lot of things that you can implement, and but you need to navigate through all of the noise and choose only the things that will be relevant and it will work for you. So I think probably the big win for us was just following the strategy, deliver fast, get the customer feedback, iterate, improve. So something like that.
Okay. And when you say inbound marketing, were you relying primarily on SEO, search engine optimization, or was it something else?
Yeah, so I think we did quite good job in terms of the SEO, and we were able to get high positions for relevant keywords. But also, we did some affiliate marketing activities. We did some social media activities. We participated in several conferences, and we were trying to make noise as much as we could, because we're still a small company. But that helped us, and now we're just improving the way how we do things, and also trying to scale using all of the marketing channels. And again, it all depends on the experience that you have. So if you're very skilled in B2B sales, maybe you shouldn't go with the inbound marketing. Maybe you should build outstanding cold email plus LinkedIn outreach B2B campaigns. You need to leverage your experience, because if you don't know what to do, you probably fail. So you definitely need to know what you're doing, and if not, then basically go learn some stuff.
So you're focused on inbound marketing to scale things up. I'm curious, as you got more and more users involved using your platform, you've been able to capture some of these stories, if you will, put up case studies I noticed on your website. How is that working for you, this idea of capturing their success stories and using it to gain the attention of other potential clients?
Yes, I'm a believer that people, they are not just buying your product, they buying the trust. And the major trigger when the person is buying is the trust. So they trust in you with something. And having successful use cases or user stories is crucial. And a lot of times it's highly complicated to get actual the case studies with the big companies, because a lot of times they are just under NDAs and they won't give you their logos and their stories. So we have a bunch of great stories, but we can't publish them. So it's complicated, but definitely you need more and more case studies to put on your website and show that you're real people, you're working with real people, and somebody actually can trust you with the solution. And once you have the good reviews, then this is another indicator. Okay, so these guys are trustworthy. So definitely the more relevant use cases, sorry, not use cases, case studies you can produce, the better.
Certainly. And I'm assuming that as you peruse through all the comments and the feedback that you get to find the nuggets that provide insights into future development, I'm curious, what, if anything, do you purposefully and intentionally do to ensure that people who do use the platform come away with a positive user experience?
Yeah, so we try to first we try to analyze what people do on the platform. So we use a lot of tools to analyze their behavior. Also, we have a feedback system. And also we have like the open roadmap for the users to just to vote for
Mm.
different features or suggest. We try to communicate with our clients, with our customers. A lot of times, so we do the customer development interviews with existing customers, asking what they need. Or so we're trying to get as much feedback as we can. And this is just a core of our company. So we understand the only way how we can be successful is to get the insight from the users, because you won't be able to win competition or just to be on the same level with competition if you're not innovating. If you just copying somebody's functionality, you never will be able to run the pace with them. And the second thing, you need to understand that your competitors, if you're just copying, they do mistakes, so you can copy mistakes as well. That's why it's very important to have the insight from the industry and innovate, trying to build the product for your customers. And that's what we really trying to do. And I think that's what helped us to grow as well, because we were able to innovate and release a lot of features earlier than our competitors. Yeah.
So, have there been perhaps a few notable collaborations or partnerships that have played a pivotal role in the overall growth of Eli?
I would say that the pivotal partnership, they're still in
Okay.
future. Actually we're doing a couple of projects right now with the two one of the biggest companies, media companies in the
Mhm.
world. And it's still in a work in progress, so we'll see how it eventually the result would be. But we value, because we're not building something custom for the clients, we building platform for learning development
Mhm.
professionals. So I would say like 80% of the use cases, they're similar. So like each customer or corporate customer, this is like a use case with us. And so we value it like the highest what we can get. So what I'm trying to say is we don't have something custom partnership that actually changed the trajectory of our company, not
Mhm.
yet, even though we had some integrations with several platforms and they giving different results, but I wouldn't say it changed us.
Okay, brilliant. And you mentioned that Eli uses AI. Now, I'm assuming that since you started this 2 years ago, that you developed your own AI model. Does it currently integrate with ChatGPT, or are there plans to introduce some of that and build out custom GPTs for each client? How does that AI component look now and into the future?
Yeah, so we built the model for video generation. It's not related to the LLMs or the text generation. We do leverage the OpenAI's models to generate the script because we understand that to create great
Mhm.
video, people need to create a great script first. So we give them this opportunity in our product. They can actually generate the script and then change it and generate video based on that. So it's working as a combination. Regarding the custom LLMs, I think we have the use case for that, and we'll see how it goes in the future. As I mentioned, it might work with learning and development AI assistant that will answering questions based on the data that we or the company gathered and we trained the model. So we'll see how it goes. So right now we're building a video creation product for the customers to create videos. So it's not about LLMs, I
Sure.
think.
And I guess the other important question in the minds of people is security and compliance. I'm assuming you follow major protocols in order to ensure that people's content is kept secure and from the eyes of others who do not need to see it.
Yeah, definitely. We take the privacy and security very seriously, especially because we're working with large organizations. We have a code of conduct in our organization, and we are not allowed to produce like harmful or explicit content. So we have the several layers of moderations of the videos, and if during automatic moderation we flag certain content, then it goes to the manual moderation, and if we think that this violates our privacy and the code of conduct, you won't be able to generate the video. So this is a part of the basic ethical part. Regarding the security and the privacy, so we're a cloud-based platform. We store everything securely on AWS, and we use encryption. And we're enterprise grade product, so we have all of the materials and all of the policies in place. And right now, praise God, we don't have any issues with that, and we continue to improve our privacy and security. Currently, we're in the process of obtaining SOC Type 2 and ISO certifications, just to additional steps to be an enterprise grade product.
Brilliant. I know I asked you about case studies, but is there one particular instance that comes to mind that stands out in terms of the ability to scale or perhaps the outcomes that they achieved?
The majority of, as I mentioned, the majority of case studies are around, if it's corporate video production, so it's around producing educational video content for the company's academy. So the big portion of what we did is just to creating the we created the personalized video content at scale and continue to do that for large organization. So they using our api and can produce hundreds of videos at scale without using traditional video production. So it can be financial reports like, hey, John, this is your financial report. Hey, Mark, this is your
Right.
financial report. And this scalability is achieved using our product, and they can instantly produce hundreds of these videos. We have several such use cases where companies producing financial or medical reports, and I think those cases we very value, and we try to develop them.
Are you hearing more beyond their ability to just produce content with the help of your platform to the kinds of impact that it makes, either on a personal level or on a perhaps a financial or some other metric kind of level on your clients?
So we definitely hear a lot of feedbacks about the level of engagement that after clients start to use our platform to generate videos for their customers or their employees, the level of engagement grows significantly. I don't have exact numbers, but I heard some like 35% plus of
Mhm.
engagement compared to the regular videos. And also the amount of money and time they usually spend is decreased significantly. And usually on the corporate L&D content creation, customers can save up to $7,000.
Wow.
So it's a lot. So we definitely help businesses to produce content faster and much more affordable.
I'm sure revenue is one of your, if not your North Star metric, but I'm curious, how do you measure, besides revenue, how do you define and measure success for your clients? I'm curious, what KPIs would you actually be tracking?
Yeah, so our North Star metric is amount of rendered minutes per paid account. So this is the driver of our organization. We look for users to actually use the product, and we try to make all of our decisions based on the data. So we even like when we were thinking about the use case and how we will want to narrow our view on particular niche, we basically made the decision based on the data. We saw that these guys, they stick to the product, they have higher attention, and they like our product. We see a lot of feedback, and we understand, okay, we need to focus on something that we do good, and we see that users like it because it's a video creation tool, and there are a bunch of people who will just create a couple of videos for their social campaign, then they charge. And it's quite complicated to build the product to engage this type of users so they could constantly create content. So as I mentioned, uh, usage is our very important metric, and basically all of the metrics related to the user engagement in the application and actually video rendering, that would be our main priority.
And I know you've had challenges starting the company 2 weeks before the war, and of course with raising funds, etc. But was there a particular challenge that you found the going pretty rough? If so, how did you and your team navigate through it, and what lessons have you learned as a result of that?
Yeah, so a lot of challenges, they were related to the technology, and still there are a lot of challenges related to, because this is a highly complicated thing to do, to create digital human avatar model that lip sync would be unrecognizable from the real human. And in the early days the model was not that great, and we needed money and we needed to sell something. So we were testing different hypotheses how we actually can make better in sales, and we came up with a lot of things and a lot of innovation. For example, because the lip sync at the beginning, the early days, was quite bad, we understood that we shouldn't give the ability to user to m- make avatar wide on the screen, so to make bigger avatar, because if you put the avatar on the whole screen you will see the issues with lips. So we closed this ability to stretch the avatar, and we at the beginning we left it just really small. And once we did it, we saw a lot of growth in revenue, just because people weren't size the avatar, and this trick helped us. So you need to constantly innovate. If something doesn't work and you don't know how to figure out, just try to make it happen. Try to go from different angle, and that's what we did. We limited some functionality, because again, you need to give the maximum value to your customer. And if your customer will have a bad quality product, probably they will never come back. So just be honest to the customers. Okay, at this particular moment you can stretch the avatar, so you will have only small avatar, but small avatar would be a better quality. So that's what we have, and I think that strategy actually help us to constantly grow. And overall, we because of the war we had some issues with the filming avatars, because all of the avatars, they're real people. And a lot of times you don't have in Ukraine you didn't have the electricity on the studio, so that was the issue. So we were coming up with some ideas and just had a mindset we somehow need to make it happen. Yeah, but eventually looks like we found the right solutions and we're on track.
Brilliant. You're obviously spending a lot of time trying to engage your customers. For those who are customers, do you also foster a sense of community amongst your users? And if so, what kind of role does it play?
Yeah, so regarding the community, we just launched our Discord community. I wouldn't say it's the big community, but we're definitely trying to invest in the community, and we're planning to establish our brand as one of the major newsmaker in the space. So we definitely need to invest more in community. We want to be a community driven company and based building the products that people love and value and share news about it. Right now, it's still early days, I would say, for the community, but we're definitely trying to invest in it.
And could you explain to us how you go about ensuring that you keep a feedback loop open with your customers?
Yeah, so we use a tool called FeedBeer. It's just like the open roadmap board where you can suggest features and also you can vote for features and you can see the progress of the several like the features that you requested. So this is the first thing. The second thing, you are able to leave a feedback in the application if you don't like something. We use Hotjar. You can basically go
Mhm.
and give a feedback. Also, you can send us an email and talk to our customer support and give us feedback. And as I mentioned, we try to talk to the customers, and a lot of times we're trying to get like on customer development interview or one-on-one meeting where we trying to get the feedback. And so far it was good, but it's still quite complicated process because people value their
Mhm.
time and it's not everybody wants to have additional meeting, during their day.
Certainly. I'm curious for those who are listening and looking to go into this entrepreneurship phase, venturing into technology and AI. Based on your experiences, what advice would you give them?
Great question. So, based on my experience, I would say stop thinking about things, go and do something. So, it's all about being doer, not just listener and not just a dreamer. And also, you should have the mindset that you will do it regardless of the situation because doing the startup is highly complicated thing to do. And if you want to have the mindset that you will have success regardless of anything and you will just make it happen, so probably you won't be able to make it. So it's, and this not me, it's the statistics. Definitely deliver fast. You need to be very hardworking to test your hypothesis fast, fail fast, and deliver and get the feedback from the customers. And the only way how you can succeed is just to follow this approach.
Is there perhaps an aspect of using technology like Eli for learning and development that you find doesn't get talked about very much? If so, what would it be?
Yeah, so I think the aspect of interactivity, that's something that we see a lot of potential. What I'm trying to say that once the content is produced, usually the managers they put it in the LMS, and sometimes they have quizzes to create some real-time conversations plus and interactivity and have it in a like in a one set. That's something that not a lot of people talk, but everybody wants it. Everybody wants to have real-time conversation for scenario-based learning, or and that's I think the components that have a lot of potential.
I'm also curious, is there perhaps an element of AI that you find doesn't get talked about very much when it comes to not just content creation, but also learning and development?
It's just because it's still early
Mhm.
days. Eventually, we don't know how things will go and how will things will look like in 2 3 years. We just can guess and have our own projections based on our insights. I think everybody's working on the quality of video that would be unrecognizable from the real video. So, and in 2 years, you won't see the difference between generated video and the real video. I think the big portion of AI would be around programmatically controlled gestures. So you'll see a lot more gestures like waving hands and do some like showing on the desk something. So gestures is a big component. Again, this is complicated thing to do, and all of the companies, including us in the space, they are building their R&D activities around this type of solution just to introduce gestures. But in 2 years, I think the technology would be at the degree where it would be possible.
Very interesting. Vitali, if you were listening to this episode, what would you say would be your top takeaway?
Probably just push forward, stay focused, never give up. And this is the key to the success, and be a doer, I
Mhm.
think.
Excellent. And if listeners are curious, want to find out more or connect with you, where would you recommend they head to?
Yeah, so basically, we have the website called Elai.io. You definitely can go and check it out. If you want to connect with me personally, go to my LinkedIn, Vitalii Romanchenko, and shoot me a message. That's also, I have a Twitter, but I think I'm more active on
No
LinkedIn.
worries. We'll include links to that in the show notes. Vitali, this has been terrific. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks, Vinay, for having me. It was a pleasure